circulation would be a crime, and a circulator would sign a certificate indicating that they did not misrepresent the purposes of the petition when they were gathering signatures, down to paid circulators wearing badges. So we have a whole laundry list of issues that came into play here that I thought we really were moving towards a very balanced package that would not, it's not designed to stop the initiative process. It's designed to make it more accountable and something that everybody will have a fair opportunity to make sure that if the voters of this state are going to be asked to vote on something, that the proposal is legitimately brought forward.
Thank you. I have Senator Jacobson and Senator Jansen questions.
Thank you. Nice to have you both. I've got a couple of questions. No reason absentee voting. You know, this is something I've been meeting with clerks in my district for a number of months. This is something that comes up all the time. They really want to see this. You know, how do you feel about this? And you know, is this something that you could support and help us?
Yeah, I've always, even when I was county clerk, I supported no reason. I still do. Unfortunately, Senate, we're gonna work on it, guys. we got it through the House.
Well, I just mentioned we do have this new committee. We have gone into territory that hasn't been explored before.
There you go. That's right. You're doing a great job. So yeah, but I do still support that. But I'll tell you, let me tell you what's happened since I first supported no reason is this early voting. And actually, I think that's even the icing on the cake. That's even better because in a sense you have the opportunity to come in yourself and get a second chance in case you unfortunately spoil your ballot.
I think it's the perfect complement.
Yeah.
I think they kind of need to move together. A couple of other things. I represent the Farmington Hills area. Every year they do this wonderful swearing in of new Americans, and it's this wonderful event. Hundreds of people come with their families. It's just awesome. It's the most American thing in the world. And the clerks, Farmington Hills clerks, come and they register voters that day, but only the ones that live in Farmington and Farmington Hills. Hundreds of folks come to this that are will be potential voters in other communities, and it seems that if we could allow our clerks to register folks for other communities, and then just send that information to you so that we can get them.
They should be doing that, actually.
I don't know if
they should be. They can do that.
Can they do that?
Yeah, they can do that now. Actually, we try to go to as many of those ceremonies as possible. In fact, we're at a lot of them. But if you've ever worked with the federal government, they don't tell you usually until a day or two before they happen. But as many as we can go to, we have, and the form allows you to do that. So the
clerks can do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it considered an in-person registration because they're?
Well, because they're not. And that's why what we talked about earlier is what I'd like to do is allow them to have that ability to do that.
Okay, so they could take care of those folks.
Right, exactly.
So would that also then apply? I know in some of my high schools, when the clerks go in, because of schools of choice, you have kids that live in different communities that are attending school in one community. So then could the clerks then register those kids?
Sure. Yeah. Well, basically anybody can register somebody, but then it's not considered in person. So if they have the forms, they can fill out the form and then get it into, the state or the clerks or whatever. But it wouldn't be considered in person. That's the key here. We want to make it so it is in person.
Good.
Right.
This is good. I take my glasses.
Okay.
Picture ID.
Sure.
I just want to be sure that I think your proposal, and as this legislation is starting to move through, would allow an affidavit to be signed if someone did not have a voter a picture ID.
Well, actually, the law is already there. We're a little unique in Michigan. We've always had the affidavit process. So even before the photo ID requirement, if you, for example, were not on the list, but you said you did live in that area, you could vote an affidavit, which is counted, and And then you'd have to come in and prove that after the election.
So then the vote isn't counted until you come in to prove
No,
that?
it is counted. That's before. Now, what you can do is if you don't have a photo ID, but you're on the list, you get an affidavit and that is counted. So we have a couple of options in Michigan that other states don't. We have, the ability to do that with the affidavit, which is not something that other states have had.
All right, so if you don't have, I just want to review this. If you don't have a voter ID, if you don't have a picture ID, and you're on the rolls, you can go and sign an affidavit that you are who you are, and your vote will count.
Correct.
Yes.
If you're not on the rolls, and you don't have a photo ID, your vote isn't counted until you come back to prove who you are after the election?
The current law is if you're not on a list and you're voting in a precinct, then you're in the provisional ballots, okay? But the voter identification law that's now just gone into effect deals with voters whose names are on the list. And so if, as the Secretary indicated, if you forgot your wallet, you can sign an affidavit and say, I don't have my ID with me today, right now. And you're just given a regular ballot, you vote. It's not provisional. If, however, your name's not on the list, now you're into the provisional ballot process. And that's been on the books since 2004, and that was required by HAVA, the Help America Vote Act. And there, if you're without ID, you vote what we call an envelope ballot. It's put in an envelope after you vote, and you've got 6 days to come into the clerk's office and identify yourself with identification, and then the ballot is counted. And that's been on the books since 04.
One more, but I do have people on the list. The session does begin at 2:30.
Oh, we'll be there. Not a problem. I just want to tell a story here. And actually your office was very helpful in helping to resolve this problem. But I think it's an interesting story as we look at this photo ID issue. There's a woman that I know, and I was helping her get her Social Security benefits and Medicare a couple of years ago. And in order to get Social Security, you need to have a bank account. So it's cool. I went over to help her open up a bank account. In order to open up a bank account, you need a photo ID. This woman never drove. All the things that she needed to get her photo ID, she couldn't have. She didn't have a marriage license because she was never married. She grew up down south in a little teeny tiny town. There was no clerk. There was no. We tried. We could not find a copy of the birth certificate. She didn't graduate from high school, so she didn't have a diploma, and she didn't have a high school yearbook that had a picture of her. But she'd been paying the federal taxes and state taxes for years, so obviously somebody knew who she was. She was. We were paying into her Social Security for her. She had somebody Mrs. Boyd. So it's like, boy, this was a real catch-22 because we couldn't prove who she was, although she'd been functioning really well. So your office was terrific. They said if I signed an affidavit saying that I've known her for 25 years, we could prove that she was who she was, and